I'm going to use my valve hole here as a starting point, and usually I put a piece of red electrical tape or something like that over it, but I'll just emphasize where the valve hole is because we want to keep track of how many turns we're putting on these nipples, and the best way to do that is to have a consistent starting and stopping point. Now what I'm going to do is put this spoke wrench on this nipple, and I'm going to turn it 2 times. 1, 2. Then move to the next one. 2 turns. 1, 2. The next one. 1, 2. And when you're doing this, you have to have a way of keeping track of what you're doing, because you don't want to get distracted or start a conversation with somebody. Sometimes, just keep my focus on this, I'll go like this. 1, 2. Buckle my shoe. 3, 4. Oops. 4. Open the door, that nursery rhyme. So I'm going to go all the way around and continue turning every nipple twice. Now this spoke wrench I'm using, this black spoke wrench, is made by Park and is the most common spoke wrench to use. Most nipples use a black spoke wrench. Certainly good quality nipples use a black spoke wrench. Now this is called a 3-sided spoke wrench. If you see that it goes on easily from the side, it's convenient to use. The problem is that when you're turning the nipples, it's very easy for it to slip off, and you may have noticed that happened to me once or twice. A better spoke wrench is this one here, which is also a Park tool, because this one does not slide on from the side. It only slides down from above. And this is called a 4-sided spoke wrench. So it's much safer to use this. In addition, you have these big wings that stick out, so you get a good mechanical advantage. But when using this spoke wrench here, the chances of the spoke wrench accidentally slipping off the nipple are greatly reduced. Okay, now I've got a little bit of tension on the spokes, not much, but if I pluck the spokes on the drive side, I can hear a little tone. On the other side, I just hear thud. So I'm going to continue to add turns of tension. I'll probably just do one at a time, 1 turn at a time now, until I get to the point where I hear some tone on the non-drive side spokes as well. So we're going to go now to this 4-sided spoke wrench and go all the way around. 1, 2, 3, and I'll catch up with you in a minute. Okay, 1 turn later. So I have a little bit of tone on both sides. Now, when you're calculating spoke lengths and building wheels, there's always a little bit of rounding off of spoke lengths, rounding them up, rounding them down. So the number of turns that you have to put on the nipples to reach a certain tone is going to vary from one wheel to another. You might sometimes have to make more turns, sometimes fewer turns than I used here. But we're at the point here where I want to do something called presetting the spoke bends, and I will take the wheel out of the truing stand to do that. The next step is something that's called presetting the spoke bends, and I'm going to zoom in with the camera so you can see this close up. Okay, let's look at these 2 spokes right here. Now, to some extent, this spoke bows up, and to some extent, this spoke here bows down. So to the extent that there's upward bowing of this one and downward bowing of this spoke, they don't go in a straight line from the hub to the rim. So what we're going to do is to use a cone wrench to straighten that out. I'm going to put the cone wrench into this big triangle here, and I'm going to turn the cone wrench like this so that I push this spoke down and push this spoke up at the same time, like that. I go to the next one, do the same thing, the next one, the next one, and go all the way around. It doesn't really matter if you forget where you started, because if you go back to the same spot and hit it again, it won't hurt anything. Okay, so that is that side. That's the drive side. I'm going to turn the wheel over and do the same thing on the other side. And once again, we use these two spokes. In this case here, this spoke is bowing up and this spoke is bowing down. So I'm going to use my cone wrench and I'm going to push it the other direction. And I'll show you in a second how you can tell if you're going the wrong way. So I'm going to go this way, and that's that triangle. Next triangle. This is called presetting the spoke bends. This will add durability to your wheels, and is an important part of wheel building in most cases. Okay, now supposing I go to this triangle right here, and I think, oh gosh, I forgot which way I have to turn the spoke wrench. Do I turn it this way, or do I turn it this way? If I turn it this way, watch what happens. These two spokes here will push the cone wrench out away from the hub. It starts out here next to the hub, but these two spokes here are pushing the cone wrench away. And even if that didn't happen, if I push this way, I'm pushing this spoke further up and this spoke further down, which is exactly the opposite of what I want to do. So only by inserting the cone wrench in the big triangle like this and turning it this way am I reducing the downward bowing of this and reducing the upward bowing of this spoke here.